Welcome to the Men of Wonder podcast. My name is Curry, your host. Today I want to kick off with just saying a massive thank you to everybody that's gone to my DMs and post condolences to my family. Some of you didn't even have to do it because I don't even know any of you, and you just know me from hearing my voice on the podcast. So a massive gratitude and so grateful. And I think it's strange that I'm saying thank you to complete strangers, yet I just felt a little bit bad because on Friday. I was quite frustrated and just hurting, and I shared with my Facebook family, people I thought were my friends, just to let them know that that's what's happened. And I think only two reached out and said something, and everybody else saw the story but didn't feel like they could say, something. So it just, some of them are really close friends. So people that I thought were really close friends would actually reach out and, just try and make sure that I'm okay. And they didn't. So, and again, part of it is that it's a little bit sad, it hurts a little bit. But at the same time, I know enough that people are going through shit anyways with their own lives. So, my troubles might be insignificant to what they're going through. And this, by no means should I judge somebody else for not saying something to me, because probably the reason why I'm a bit sad is that I'm just trying to project my pain onto somebody else. So I'm just trying to find somebody to blame so I can put them into pain. So really, them not saying anything is not a big deal. I'm just trying to make it a big deal because I'm in pain and I just want to project it on somebody. So really, if any of you, my friends, are listening to this, it's all good. I'm just a little bit, I just trying to find a way of, pissing somebody else off. So, but it's just human nature, isn't it? That you, when you're going through stuff, you want to make somebody else feel pain. There's no, there's no escaping it. But this is not a rant about, friendship and stuff like that. This is just a celebration of like complete strangers actually listen to this podcast, saw my name and sent them to Instagram. So they had to type my name into Instagram and then go into my DMs and say, you know what, I'm sorry about your nan. And absolutely grateful for those people. And, it's such a time scarce period we're living in where we don't have a lot of time because we keep ourselves busy, and do stuff and so many things to keep us busy. And just taking that time, I'm completely grateful for that, and my family is completely grateful because I've read some of the messages to my family, and just to uplift the spirits. And thank you very much for that. And I think one gentleman did write, and he was apologetic because he had a question about the topic we spoke about yesterday. I spoke about that seduction is not sexist. So because we've got into this paradigm where we associate seduction with being a pervert, and it's such a lost art that when people actually do get married and they're in relationships, they start struggling to actually find that a rhythm of being in a seductive seduction. And we talked about how it's not a switch where you sort of switch on and off, that seduction is supposed to be constant, and part of seduction is actually making space. And that's where the question was. You talked about what do you actually mean by making space, and the space is just basically that she has to be part of this seduction process. Now when I say she, I'm just referencing my wife, but I'm just meaning your partner. So it doesn't matter whether you straight or gay or bisexual or whatever, but your partner has to be part of the seduction. I think there's this preconceived idea of that men come off a paradigm of thinking that I have to do this in order to prove I'm a man. So I'm going through this seduction period that she's completely disregard her part on the seduction side of things. And this is one of the reasons why females are not always up for sex, because they feel like they're a piece of meat that just because you fondled me on my boob and kissed me and caressed me, it doesn't mean that I should be on. I'm ready. I haven't got to that point yet. So, there's sometimes when she's on the verge, she's unaware that she's on the verge, and then the guy comes and then he strikes gold. And those points become not as frequent. The distance between those points become widened because life is busy. As a man, you're busy and stuff. Although you're constantly ready to have sex, with a woman it's a bit more complex. There's a bit of shame there around it. There's also the fact that she's the caregiver of children, and the whole process in the mind, in the relationship between sex and a wife and mother and everything, all those things, they are a massive jumble of things happening. And this is from my personal experience, so it could be different for somebody else. But and when I say personal experiences, this is for a long period of time. And what I found that works is the fact that you have to actually cultivate the relationship in a way that you're both in that state of arousal. Not as in yes, I'm ready to fuck type of thing, but I mean you're in the state where you're cultivating the sexual side of things, because it's healthy, and it's a healthy thing to be looking at. And when I say space, it means that your partner has to be part of the arousal process. So you're making space for her to contribute into the seduction process. So your partner would initiate conversation through text messages, your partner slapping your bum, stuff like that. And you encourage that. So even if they got some shame towards it and they do not feel comfortable doing it, what are the things that you can do to make them feel comfortable, make them feel comfortable so they can be part of that seduction process? Because once they become part of it, it's not a matter of, if or maybe we're going to have sex. You're actually working towards a big, crescendo, kind of sort of big climax. And, so you're working towards it. And I did allude to yesterday that the best time to actually start seducing is post-orgasm. So you have orgasm. At that point when you have orgasm, you're already working towards the next orgasm, pretty much. So you're now beginning the seduction process again. And it's something, like I said, it's not like a flick of a switch that, okay, I'm about to have seduction, so let me switch it on. It should be constantly on. It's something that is constantly on. Like now in winter, your heating is constantly on. It's the same thing, and you've got a thermostat that keeps it at a certain temperature. So you got control of that vibe. You've got, both of you have got control of that vibe, and obviously life comes in the way, and sometimes you cannot have sex, and because it's just you're tired or whatever. But the fact that you're working towards it daily, it also sort of opens up other things, especially on the intimacy side of things. Because I think yesterday I had a conversation with a guy, and we were talking. I was saying that there's a difference between sex and intimacy, and he was like, "No, it's the same." And I said, in terms of guys, we look at actual sex as intimacy. It's like one of our things. We just mistaken it as in that's what it is, and to a certain extent, it's accurate, because we men usually have sex to connect, while as women need to feel the connection in order to have sex. And this is a quote I heard from Dr. Laurie, a good friend of mine, and it is so true that I feel the closest to my partner when we've orgasmed and we've had an amazing, incredible session. So I feel close to her, and I want to cuddle her, and I just feel this overwhelming feeling of love. But then on the other hand, she has to feel that overwhelming feeling of love in order to get to that point of arousal. So you now have to work towards, because you're working constantly on keeping that fire going in terms of the arousal process and the seduction process. I mean, part of it is you having to, for it to work constantly, you have to become vulnerable so you can start showing intimacy. And like I was saying to the gentleman, that intimacy is you having to reveal yourself vulnerably. So what are the things that are difficult? What are the things that are make you feel vulnerable? So recently, like I said, my nan passed away, and the fact that I was sad, that I was in tears and I was crying, it made my partner feel closer to me. The fact that I could break down in front of her and be that vulnerable, while it was a very sad situation, the fact that she felt like, even though she felt a bit helpless, but felt like her cuddling me and reassuring me that she was part of making me feel better, that was massively powerful that she could do that. She felt empowered to make me feel better, and because she felt empowered to make me feel better, made her feel more attracted to me because I could show a vulnerable side of myself. And this is just one example of different things. Like I've been struggling with my weight. There's certain times when she said some comment, then she's not saying it intentionally, but it's something that is almost a fat shaming sense. It upsets me. The fact that I can share to her and say, you know what, the thing that you said upset me, you know, she knows that I'm not saying she's a evil human being or anything. She just realizes that, okay, I said something and you obviously got a wound on it. It's an open wound. It's not a scar. So I'm just going to avoid saying that. But the fact that I've shared that is giving us something that we can connect on, that, okay, this is something that you're struggling with, and something that you find very, you know, you're not quite there in terms of your healing to that, you know. So that's the difference between, you know, the sex and intimacy, that you're actually allowing yourself to relate on different points. And really, intimacy is not only on the negative side of it, but a lot of it is actually revealing the most vulnerable side of yourself, which usually is a negative thing inside your life. But at the same time, there's also some things that are intimate that you wouldn't know. So for instance, like, I got a friend of mine, he talks about that he likes, now he's told me in confidence, but it's something that we joke about constantly. He likes to have his wife wear a strap-on. Now, that's some conversation. Can you imagine that conversation before he told her, like, they've been married for a while, and then all of a sudden he says, you know, honey, can you fuck me up the ass? You know, it's like that conversation must have been epic. But for them to connect in that way, can you imagine the impact on the relationship? The fact that, you know, obviously, I think for the woman that could be quite empowering. The fact that you can actually have you've had the pussy and you've been pounded all this time, and this time you've got an opportunity to pound a guy as well. So I don't know. From a male perspective, it sounds, you know, just it might be empowering. I don't know about you females, if you're listening to this, if it's empowering. But anyways, that conversation must have been very difficult for him, and the fact that he could open up that way, and then they could meet somewhere where they can both agree on exploring that is so powerful, and such a powerful event within a relationship. So that's the difference between intimacy, but there is some crossover between the two, intimacy and seduction and sex and stuff like that. So hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully it answers the question when I was talking about making space for her to actually make space for your partner to be part of the seduction process. That's exactly what it is, basically, that you have to let them in, basically, and you have to be giving them that opportunity to contribute towards it. Because if you solely take it up on yourself, this is the first, and that's the quickest route to a sexless marriage. Thank you very much. That's now going to be my my title. I was not sure how I was going to title this, but yes, sexless relationship, yeah, something like that, I think. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, guys. If you got any questions, reach me out on Instagram Like I said, I think in the next few days, I'm not sure what's going to happen in terms of the funeral. So I might have to go to my mum's. My plan was to actually build the things. I sketched it down and I wrote down some of the stuff I needed to add into this landing page where people can go and actually ask questions through there rather than going to my Instagram. Because I think some people are not they still want the anonymity, so there's less people asking questions because of that. But at the same time, I would like just to set up something where you just land on this page, then you can ask your question. You just type in your question. You don't have to put in your email or anything like that. You type in your question, and then I'll get the question. I won't even know where it's come from, and then I can answer your question without you having to write anything. So thank you very much. Hopefully I can build that up by Wednesday. If not, if this funeral is happening between Monday and Tuesday, it has to be in next weekend. The other thing is, I talked about a challenge. I think after doing that, I'm going to start working towards a challenge by the targeting November. So early November, first week of November, we're going to do a 5-day challenge, make the bedroom great again, which is going to be the title of the thing. So working towards it. I think we'll do that challenge. In terms of preparing for it, there's not much preparation. I should have done the preparation 3 months ago in order to have a big audience to come towards that challenge. So, but anyways, we're going to just wing it and then see what happens. So thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you have got some value from that, and thank you very much for all those that gave out the shout out to my nan. She would have been proud, and again, this is the reason why I'm doing this, because I think she would have slapped me, the fact if she knows that her passing away stopped me from actually publishing. She would slap me, because that's the person she was. She used to like literally, if she found out a family where she lived was a village, if she found out that the family was starving, she would literally take food from her own children pretty much and share, and she would say, yes, we will share. And she's a Christian, so she would say God will find a way, and surely God did find a way for her. We never at any point when I visited her that we didn't have anything to eat or anything like that, but she always had something to help somebody, and that is something that is just stuck with me. So me not making an episode because she's passed away would be something that she would actually slap me for. She would be like, don't be silly, So I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about helping people, and hopefully you're getting a lot of value from this. So thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you soon.